Hey guys, it's Britt and welcome back to our channel. I'm so happy you're here. Today we're whipping up our Girl Scout Thin Mint Blizzard recipe that is whole food plant-based, refined sugar-free, gluten-free, delicious, and very easy to make. So we're gonna get started. This recipe is awesome. You can store it in your refrigerator. I generally like to store this in little pre-made cups so that way I have servings and I'm not overeating this dessert at night generally when I'm craving it or want something chocolate. And it's been working fantastic even throughout weight loss because this makes a large amount, and again, you can portion it out to be what you want to enjoy. So this recipe is really simple. There are 3 parts. We're going to break it down for you. Again, keep it in the freezer, pull it out for when you want something that's awesome, perfect for St. Patrick's Day. We're kind of in the Girl Scout season of, you'll see them selling cookies more when you go to the grocery store. And this literally tastes like the Thin Mint cookies that were my specific favorite of the Girl Scouts. Alright, so we're going to get into this. You need a food processor and a blender. Both are needed for this recipe. We're also going to make some nice cream at the end in our blender. So again, super simple and easy. So I just use a bowl or some kind of pan to kind of press out this cookie that we're going to make first. And then ideally after we make the crust and the Thin Mint layer, you would freeze it. Once it became more solid, you would make it into the blizzard. So I just like to use, you can use any pan. I just have a bowl here that we're going to use. Really easy. We're going to make the crust, then the Thin Mint cookie top layer, and that's pretty much the recipe. So you guys know I like it simple and easy. This also is very friendly with kids and husbands and family or guests that you're having over. So I think this is a really awesome recipe to have in your back pocket for especially those summer nights. We generally will whip out our blizzards. Blizzards were one of my favorite treats to have before being plant-based or healthy at all. And so we have a couple different blizzard recipes, and really it's just kind of an ode to that dessert I used to really like, except for we're swapping it out with nice cream and then making our own cookie filling. So let's get into it. I'll stop rambling. In a food processor, we're going to make the crust layer. And so the crust layer is really simple. We just have some rolled oats that I pulsed into a flour. And so this is oat flour now. And it's really easy to make at home. You don't even have to buy oat flour, just rolled oats that you pulse in a blender until it's finely ground. This is 3/4 of a cup. Oh, and the printable PDF is on our website, which is linked down below, so you don't have to take notes. You can check out, I always put this whole recipe in the show notes down below as well, so if you don't want to go to our website, it's down there for you. If you want to go to our website, you can just get the PDF and print it out and have it. Okay, 3/4 cups of oat flour. You can also double this recipe if you want to serve even more blizzards. If you're having like a party of blizzards, you might want to double this. I have 1/2 cup of raw walnuts. These are really awesome in this. You also could use, cashews. You could use a different kind of nut. I really like walnuts, and again, this makes a pretty large amount. So we're only using 1/2 cup, and it will get, I would say around like four servings, maybe 5 servings, depending on how big, 6 servings. If you make them in the little individual cups, I've got 6 out of these. It just depends how much you want to spread it out. So 1/2 cup is really not that much spread out. So 1/2 cup of walnuts. And I love walnuts, it's my favorite nut of choice. If you don't like them, again, you can swap it with something else. I have 5 pitted medjool dates. If your dates are really rock hard, you can soak them in some hot water. That will help them soften them up. Just make sure you pit them. This is going to help everything stick together and sweeten it. And then I have 2 tablespoons of a non-dairy milk that is unflavored and unsweetened. Alright, you're just going to pulse this until everything is stuck together. You should be able to kind of pinch it. If your high-speed blender is having trouble, you can of course add a little bit of extra non-dairy milk. You just want to go slow with it because you don't want it to be over wet. You want it just to be kind of like when you guys do like energy balls. We're kind of looking for that consistency for our crust. So try it my way. You might need to add a little bit more non-dairy milk depending on your dates or whatever. And you can always check, but you should be able to pinch the crust. That's kind of that's how I test it to know it's finished. So I'm going to go pulse this. I'll see you guys whenever it's finished, and we're going to move on to the next step. Super easy. After you've blended it all together, it should kind of remind you of graham cracker crust. That's kind of what it even kind of smells like, kind of the texture too. So it doesn't have to be completely compact, but enough that you can kind of stick it together if you pinch it. That's perfect. It's going to all stick together by the next layer, so if it's not as sticky, it's fine. It'll all work out. I feel like a lot of the desserts on our channel and the recipes I make are very forgiving. All of our recipes are, and so if you're not an experienced cook, and even if you do stuff slightly off to what I do, it generally will still be okay, which is really nice when you're starting your plant-based journey. All right, so I have my crust in my bowl. I just kind of layer it out, make it as even as possible, and I'll just take my hands and just press it down. And again, this really is going to depend on how many chunks of Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies that you want in your recipe. I get quite a lot because I like to put more nice cream and just a little bit of cookie, but it just all depends. So the serving size could vary from however much you want to eat. And these are just great little bars to have too if you don't want to make it into a blizzard. I've done that before too. Alright, once it's all in there, you just go ahead and press it down. That looks good. We can move on to the next part. Now, ideally, you would freeze this for today's video because, you know, I don't have one in the freezer pre-made. I'm just going to use the one, but I would freeze this until solid. You can even put it in the freezer now while you make the next step, but we're just going to skip that today because, you know, I'm trying to get this video out to you guys. Alright, for the Thin Mint layer, we have a couple ingredients. I have a non-dairy milk. This is 1/4 cup. It's unsweetened and unflavored. Put that in first. Depending on your Vitamix or your blender, whichever you're using, you might need to add a little bit more non-dairy milk. You really want the blender to be able to make this part very smooth. So if you're noticing that your blender is not making a smooth layer, you can add a little bit of extra non-dairy milk. So depending on how tall or everything is. So I would probably add a tablespoon at a time until everything is blended nice and smooth if you're having trouble. I have 5 pitted dates again, so really easy to remember. 5 at the beginning, 5 now. I also have some cocoa powder. So this is 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. You can use cacao powder. Either one works, but we like cocoa powder here. It's going to make it chocolatey. I also have some sunflower seeds. So I also added in 1/4 cup of raw sunflower seeds. My camera battery died right in the middle of that, which is always fun. So 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds helps this get a little bit creamier and richer. If you do not want to use sunflower seeds, you can leave that out. That's totally fine as well. But I do find it adds a little bit of extra creaminess to this dish. And 1/4 cup, again, spread out between a lot of servings is not very much. And then last up, I have our peppermint extract. So this is 1/4 of a teaspoon of peppermint extract. It is very strong, so you don't need a lot. You could also use mint if you wanted to as well, but we just use peppermint extract for this one. And then I'm just going to blend it until it's all smooth. Again, if your Vitamix or blender is having trouble, you can add a tablespoon of non-dairy milk at a time. You really want everything to be very thick, but also very smooth. So if you see chunks of sunflower seeds and dates in it, just add a tiny bit extra. We don't want it to be too liquidy, but you want it to be kind of similar to a frosting texture is what we're going for. So I'm going to go blend this. I'll see you guys when it's done. Now, really, this is a personal preference. If you don't mind that there are sunflower more chunks in there and it's not blended completely smooth, that's fine. If you want to make it smooth, you can. It's really a personal preference of texture. Mine is somewhere in between, so I don't really mind. So that's all right. But it should be, you still want it to be a thicker consistency. So then you're just going to pour this mixture on top. Shouldn't be like soup is what I would recommend. And again, it's all up to whatever your family likes because you guys are eating it at home. This is just how we like it. All right, and don't leave any left over. Make sure you really scrape it all out. And then if you want to make chocolate and ice cream, you don't have to clean out your blender. You can just add in your frozen bananas, maybe a little bit of vanilla extract, some non-dairy milk, and blend. For today, I'm going to clean it out though, just because we are going to make this a vanilla blizzard. But you could definitely just use the chocolate that's in here and make it chocolate flavored. We do it all. Whatever we have. You also could do like kind of like a shamrock shake, kind of an ice cream, or add some matcha to make it green for St. Patrick's Day. We love just kind of experimenting with that as well. So this could be a great St. Patrick's Day treat. All right, once it's all out, you're just gonna spread it around, and then you would put this in your freezer. And I would freeze this for around an hour to 2. It doesn't have to be completely solid, but maybe a little bit set up so it's a little bit easier to spoon out. I'm gonna put it in the freezer while we make our ice cream so it chills just a little bit. All right, let's put this all together. We're gonna make some ice cream and then pull the cookie out. Really simple. So to make an ice cream, you can do it so many different ways. You can do it in a high-speed blender. You can buy a Yonanas machine. You can get the Champion juicer. There are a ton of ways to make an ice cream. One of the ways that I would say I make it the most often is just in my Vitamix because it's easy and simple. So I just freeze some bananas whole. We always buy extra ripe bananas to freeze. Make sure they're very ripe. That's the best. This is a very large banana. So I like to do this for 2 people because it's me and my husband and I don't want to share, right? So this is an ice cream for 2 people. So I usually get 3 large bananas and I break them up into 3 sections if they're this large. This is really frozen. All right. I get 3 of them. And it just depends on your banana. That's three of them. All right, next up, I like to add some little bit of non-dairy milk. This will help your blender out so you're not just cranking it with a large frozen amount of bananas. If you have a Yonanas machine or something else, you might just be able to use just the bananas and not use any of the liquid. But again, we're just using it in the blender, so 1/4 cup of a non-dairy milk. And then I like to add just a tiny bit of vanilla extract. You can leave that out. You can add chocolate. You can add frozen strawberries. You can add spinach to make this green. Like I said, there's so many different ideas and ways. This is just a really simple, basic vanilla ice cream. We're just gonna blend this until it's smooth. I'm gonna use my tamper to really blend everything down, make it nice and creamy. If your blender is struggling, you can always add a little bit of extra non-dairy milk to help it out. So you want it to be thick, but not too soupy, but you don't want to kill your blender when you do this, especially if this is your first time making the ice cream. You'll get the hang of it. There's kind of a perfect amount that you're looking for. And then you can also, if you make too much or if it ends up being too soupy, you can of course add more frozen bananas to this, but you also can freeze it. So we usually will take a glass loaf pan. I'll make a huge amount, we'll freeze it, and then I can just scoop out a scoop of ice cream when I want. But there are tons of different ways to make this. This is just really easy. Okay, I'm gonna go blend this. I'll show you guys what it looks like. We'll put it all together and we're gonna have our Girl Scout Thin Mint Blizzard. Super simple and easy. Once your ice cream is done, we can assemble. So this is a really thick ice cream. It should be very thick. You should be able to kind of hold it up and it not fall out. If your ice cream is sliding or a little bit thin, you can put it in the freezer for a little bit if you'd like. But this came out perfect. So what I like to do is grab a fancy cup when I assemble ours. It just makes the treat feel a little bit special. We don't do this all the time, but like on a summer day when I went some kind of ice cream, this is a much healthier option than even anything you're gonna find at the grocery store. So we will do that sometimes when we want a little treat, but again, it's not every night or every week. I most times are snacking on fruit as my dessert, but this is really a nice something special. So when we have something special, I like to do it in a fancy glass, so I have ours here. So I just do a little bit of the nice cream. The cookie part of it would be frozen, so it would be not as crumbly as it's going to be right now because we just put it in there for just a little bit. But what I like to do is to kind of take pieces of the cookie and just put it in to my ice cream, and then I'll scoop out some more nice cream, and that is how you make a blizzard. Really easy and simple. And there you have it. And now you have your Thin Mint Girl Scout Blizzard. And you can do this in, you know, we do this in mason jars sometimes. You can do this in a banana split. You can make this a whole thing, banana split cup. You know, have fun with it. And you can add as much of cookie as you'd like. You don't have to add a lot. You can add a little bit if you want more ice cream. It really is optional to whatever you want. But, all right, I'm going to give it a try. This is really good. This is like one of my favorite go-to summer treats. Yep. You guys are going to like this. It's a winner. So I hope you guys will try this out. I'll post a picture of it on the screen now. Make sure you try it. Give us a comment down below. Again, you can make this chocolate ice cream. You can make it a Shamrock Shake ice cream. You can play around with it. You can eat this as bars. You can put it all together. Whatever you'd like, it'll work for your family. So I hope you guys will subscribe. I make whole food plant-based recipes every week, multiple times a week. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. I'll see you guys real soon in the next one. Enjoy your dessert. And I hope you guys have a great week. Bye.